like to call to order the Carson Area Metropolitan Planning Organization. It's Wednesday, December 9th, 2015, 4:30 p.m. We are at the Community Center, Sierra Room, 851 East William Street, Carson City, Nevada. Note, the Carson Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, CAMPO, is pleased to make reasonable accommodations for members of the public who are disabled and wish to attend the meeting. If special arrangements for the meeting are necessary, please notify Carson Area Metropolitan Planning Organization staff in writing at 3505 Bud Way, Carson City, Nevada 89701, or comments@carsonareampo.com, or call Patrick Pittinger at 775-887-2355 as soon as possible. Requests are required prior to 12 p.m. on December 7th for this meeting. For more information or for copies of the supporting material regarding any item listed on the agenda, please contact Patrick Pittinger, Transportation Manager, at 775-887-2355. Additionally, the agenda with all supporting material is posted on the CAMPO website at www.carson.org/agendas, or is available upon request at 3505 Bud Way, Carson City, Nevada. Agenda. Item A is roll call and determination of a quorum.
Chairperson Fierro.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Erb.
Here.
Member Bonkowski.
Here.
Member Kroll.
Merry Christmas.
Member Kimbrough.
Here.
Member McQuarrie. Member Smolensky. And could you introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely. I'm not Sandra Rosenberg. My name's Bob Madewell. I'm the interim program manager, division manager for program development at NDOT.
Thank you. A quorum is present, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes.
I do want to note that Member Smolensky did contact me earlier today and inform me that he was not going to be able to attend this evening.
All right, thank you very much. Item B of our agenda is public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the CAMPO board may approach the podium and speak on matters related to CAMPO. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person per topic. If your item requires extended discussion, please request the chair to calendar the matter for a future CAMPO meeting. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. Is there anybody in the audience today that would like to approach CAMPO under public comment? All right, then we will move on. Item C, approval of the minutes. C1, for possible action, action to approve the minutes of October 14, 2015 meeting.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item D is agenda management notice. The chair may take items on the agenda out of order, combine two or more agenda items for consideration, and or remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion related to an item on the agenda at any time. E is disclosures. Any member of the CAMPO board may explain at the time the actual item is being considered any contact with the public regarding an item on the agenda or business of CAMPO. Now we're on to item F, which is public meeting items. F1, for possible action to determine the selection of Carson City RTC's Federal Transit Administration, FDA, 5310 application to be submitted for funding in the CAMPO planning area. Staff summary, CAMPO has received one application requesting FTA 5310 funding. CAMPO will determine whether the application will be selected for funding and the amount of funds to be awarded out of the total available.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The RTC has approved an application for FTA 5310 federal fiscal year 2015 funds. The full year's 2015 full fiscal year's 2015 funds apportionment was not actually released until fairly recently. That's why the application is only just now showing up for the fiscal year 2015. It was actually not even until we were into the city's fiscal year 2016. So anyways, the application, as I mentioned, for 5310 funds, which is meant to enhance the mobility of seniors and individuals with disabilities. The RTC is applying for the full year's apportionment and plans to use the funds as capitalized operating to run for the JAC transit system, and this basically means a higher federal match than the standard operating funds. So this will be a federal match of 80% compared to the standard 50%. And the funds, as I mentioned, will be used to operate the Jack Transit system, and all of the Jack's fleet, the entire fleet, is ADA compliant, which will meet the terms of the 5310 requirements. So if there are any questions, I'll take them now.
Are there anybody that has questions? Brad?
Graham, I have a question. You said that the funds would be used for Jack operations, but the way I read the package, I thought it was for the replacement of 2 vehicles. Did I misread that?
I don't.
There's a schedule in here that shows 2 vehicles to be replaced.
Yes, at the time that the application was completed, this is just a portion of NDOT's, their application and their records of what the funds, the system that the funds are going to. So this vehicle roster here doesn't actually show what the funds are used for. It's just showing basically that at the time, we were looking to replace 2 vehicles.
So then it is just used for operations?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, are there any further questions for Graham? All right, can I get a motion then?
I move to determine the selection of Carson City's RTC's Federal Transit Administration 5310 application to be submitted for funding in the CAMPO planning area.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve item F1. Is there anybody from the public that came to address this issue? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item F2, for possible action, determine the selection of Carson City RTC's Federal Transit Administration FTA 5339 application to be submitted for funding in the CAMPO planning area. Staff summary: CAMPO has received 1 application requesting FTA 5339 funding. CAMPO will determine whether the application will be selected for funding and the amount of funds to be awarded out of the total available.
Take this one again. Thank you. So once again, this is just basically a separate pot of money. This is for 5339 funds. RTC has approved an application for the federal fiscal year 2015. This is actually a partial apportionment. And the 5339 funds are to be used for buses and bus-related facilities. The RTC intends to use the funds for access projects, basically sidewalks projects, to provide better access to Jack bus stops. RTC had already received the first half of the apportionment earlier in the year, and this is just applying for the second partial apportionment. So as I mentioned in the past, RTC has used these funds for improving access to Jack bus stops, and plans once again to use the funds to enhance access to bus stops. And in many cases, these funds are able to be combined with CDBG funds in order to expand the scope of projects, which is obviously a benefit to the project itself. So with that, I'll take any questions.
All right, are there any questions on this item? Seeing none, can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion. Okay, here we go. I move to determine the selection of Carson City's RTC's Federal Transit Administration 5339 application to be submitted for funding in the CAMPO planning area.
It's been moved and seconded to approve item F2 on our agenda today. Is there anybody from the public that came to address this issue? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, that brings us to item number G, internal communications and administrative matters, non-action items. G1, future agenda items.
Well, I want to start by noting that, and this does relate to a potential future item, Member McQuarrie, this was actually his last meeting. He is not seeking reappointment with the RTC and therefore won't be at future RTC and CAMPO meetings. I actually had a certificate here of appreciation signed by both the CAMPO and RTC chairs. I'll be in touch with Mr. McQuarrie to make sure that he gets it, and if he be willing to come to our next meeting and accept it, just so we can thank him as appropriate. As far as future items go, we are going to have for CAMPO an update on the progress of the regional transportation plan for our RTC members, because we don't have an RTC meeting this evening. We're going to provide an update on the taxi voucher program that we set up for WNC students. Last year, school year, we did a Jack bus service. This year, through Jack, we're using a taxi voucher system. We want to give you an update on how that's going. We do have a project to be awarded. Actually, Graham referenced previously that this 5339 funds will be used to improve sidewalks. They'll actually be used to match CDBG funds from the Housing and Urban Development Department, and we are going to, at a future meeting, have that award of that project over there by Empire Elementary School in Monte Rosa. And finally, I just want to note that next week, the staff and the entire CAMPO board have been invited, along with other members of the community, to a workshop, an annual workshop. We have the county tours when NDOT comes, and Rudy Malfaban was personally here earlier this year. The NDOT continues to do the county tour program, but additionally, that's in summer. In winter, they're doing a workshop where they bring key NDOT staff members in, economic development folks, and also the CAMPO board and staff, and we have an opportunity to meet, not in a formal public meeting, but to discuss the issues as kind of a mid-year between those county tours. So we look forward to that meeting next week.
All right, thank you very much. Item H, board comments, status reports and comments from the members of the CAMPO board. I'll start down here on my right.
No comments, Mr.
Okay.
Nothing.
I'd just like to point out that last week with Douglas County, the county commissioners approved the additional nickel per gallon gas tax. So Douglas County is finally moving up in the world here, and we'll be collecting additional funds for road and transportation projects. And with that, I want to wish everybody a very safe and joyous Christmas and New Year's. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, yesterday, I think probably everybody saw, but the governor announced, not only announced, but he brought out the signage for the Deputy Sheriff Carl Howell Freeway on the I-580 bypass around here. It was well attended. It was a good event. So I think that's it.
So we come back to item I, which is public comment. Is there anybody in the public that would like to address the board? Seeing none. J is for possible action adjournment. Does anybody want to put in a motion to adjourn? All right, it's been moved and seconded, and before I gavel us out, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.